Here's the entire fight.
Jose Canseco, the baseball player,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
and there's the right hook.
Okay.
That again,
Okay.
boom, that put him down.
Oh,
And then
oh,
and
you,
then he
oh,
hit him
you
on the
hit him.
ground. Did you see
You
that
hit him
last
right
one?
on the temple, brother.
Yeah. A lot of people think that he just fell
Oh
down.
man.
I know I
No,
hit
no,
him
no.
with a right to the temple, and he just went down.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean,
So
Yeah.
that was actually a good overhand right
yeah,
to the temple, right?
yeah, that's what I got him with. I put him down.
Welcome back to Nanodosing. Arian here, along with my dog Big T, and it's just me and him today. It's gonna be an odd couple episode. It's just be me and my dog. We riding. I guess it's Grit Week. I still don't know what the fuck Grit Week is. I've been a part of this company for 3 years, and they always say they're leaving for Grit Week. What is Grit Week?
They just go to NFL training camps and interview people. It started, the first one they did was like they rode around in a van and ate crazy shit, and like it was Grit Week, and now they fly private and go to NFL training camps and interview the best players in the NFL.
Just break week. They just
Yeah.
break it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
PFT's on vacation.
yeah, vacation week for again. He's been doing a lot of vacations, man. Shout out to him.
I didn't say that.
Well, yeah, so it's just us today, man. I guess Billy's doing Grit Week. Everybody's moving to Chicago. Big moves going on in the pod. Thanks to y'all. We appreciate it. Yeah, the pod's growing. We love it. We love y'all. Most of y'all stay the fuck up my mentions with your dog takes. Welcome back, y'all. Yeah, just an odd couple today. Me and Big T. Should be fun. And we got a interview with Oscar De La Hoya, which was really dope, really in depth, and yeah, I just thought it was an all around great interview, man, today, and we're gonna have a little fun today.
And everyone did that, not just me and you. We
Yeah,
recorded
that was
that last
everyone.
week.
That was PFT and all the whole gang was there. We recorded that last week. So that should be cool. So what's up, man? I see you in your Chicago apartment, sun shining.
Yeah, dude. Moving is the worst thing that anyone could ever do.
Hate it.
I texted y'all this weekend 3 different times. I was like, this is going to be teed off. And then it kept getting one-upped by something else going wrong. So I have like 4.
Oh, I can't wait.
It's everything goes wrong. Nobody knows what they're supposed to be doing. Everything gets delayed from the time they told you it's going to get there.
My mom moved from Atlanta to San Antonio. I bought her a house in San Antonio, and she was stressed out with moving. Like when I'm talking, I mean, she's crying. She's literally in tears, calling me like nothing's going away. Honestly, and granted, she's a little bit dramatic with the shit, but she is sitting there, she's crying. And one of the funniest things that happened is she has this table that she just absolutely loves. Like it's her dining room table, and she just is obsessed with the table. They fucking ruined it. And she was in tears, dog. But the way they ruined it was the funniest shit ever. I guess they had to like deconstruct it in order to move it. So they show up and the table just doesn't have legs. They're just like, we don't have the legs. And she's like, what do you mean you don't have the legs? And like, it was a whole ordeal. She was about to sue. It was a big ass thing, bro. How you lose the main thing of a table or legs? Like,
No, that sounds about right.
shit's funny. But it's also why I do not I refuse to take part in the moving process, because when I was younger, we were so broke that we just moved around so much that I just got sick of that shit. And so anytime I have to move now, I just pay people to do it. I refuse. Like that is worth because the hassle and the headache that comes from moving, to me, it's not worth the stress in your life.
Agreed. I've had TVs mounted off level. I've had mattress get delayed. I've had, you name it, it has happened this weekend, and I'm so over it. The apartment's great. Chicago seems to be cool, but the moving process, horrible.
Yeah, I don't fuck with it. Yeah, I've never really been to Chicago in any kind of real way. I went to here's a funny story. Uh I had a dude hit me because like when I went vegan in the league in 2012, it was like headline news. Like Skip Bayless and Stephen A. Smith was arguing about shit I go vegan. It was like big, right? Because nobody was vegan at the time. There were no vegan restaurants. And so like I always get like these food opportunity speaking engagements. And usually like what I'll do is like I'll get one to come across the table and like I'll go and then the dude will hit me up. My mans will hit me up the day before to tell me what it's about. And so before I go, we went to Hibachi Grill. And that night my lips started swelling like crazy, and I started getting like these hives, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And kind of found out it was a small allergy to shrimp, to seafood. And so I thought I had a seafood allergy that just popped up out of nowhere. I think maybe now looking back, I just got a bad batch or something. But so my lips were swole. It was my throat was itching. It was crazy. And that was the day before I had to leave. I ended up taking a whole bunch of Benadryl. It was fine. And I get there. I get to Chicago, and so my man hits me up the day before, and he goes, "Okay, this is a this is a food allergy summit. Like I had to talk to kids that had like real food allergies that would like debilitate them. I'm talking like people were allergic to peanuts and like water, shit like that, like crazy shit like that they were. And I had I had no idea where I was going. I had never been allergic to anything in my life, but like luckily the day before I had a food allergen, and so I was standing up talking to all these people, and it ended up being pretty cool because I ended up meeting all kinds of people that helped me, get in touch with the right people to see what the fuck I had, because I didn't know. But it was dope listening to all the kids. It was a funny ass story because like I had never had food allergy before.
So, but it wasn't an allergy?
So I took a test, and like it was. Have you ever took a food allergy test? It's like they prick you with all these different things. The doctor was like, I don't know, I can't really. It's not really clear. And so what I think it was just I had a bad batch of something. Like maybe there was something in the shrimp that they cooked it with. I don't know. Like something was wrong with it. But I didn't eat seafood for like 2 years after that. And then one day I was just like, fuck it, I'm doing it. And I've been eating it ever since. I hadn't had a problem. But
that's your one Chicago experience.
One Chicago experience. Yeah.
Did you ever play the Bears?
Yeah, but I don't count that. I don't count game because like it's not the NBA is different and the MLB is different. Like when you travel to cities, like they allow you to go around the town.
Right.
Yeah. We had a curfew. You know what I'm saying? Like we could maybe go out to dinner, and then we had to be in meetings by 8. You know what I'm saying? And then we had to be in bed by like 10. Like, and they have bed checkers and shit. And so like I would go to places, but I never really looked at the city.
Yeah.
There was one time I went there. My agency, my first agency, I think, was based in Chicago. And I think when I went, the river was green
for St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah. And that's so those are my two Chicago experiences. I know, but like I hear good things about it.
My initial Chicago observation is the lack of foot traffic is startling coming from New York. Like New York, doesn't matter what time of day you walk on the sidewalk, there's a ton of people. Nobody is out walking anywhere. I went to like a nice restaurant on Saturday night on the river, like beautiful weather, 7:30. There's nobody out, like nobody anywhere. And then yesterday I was at this like mall type thing that I went to see a movie, and the movie theater was in there. It was like Sunday, 12 o'clock, nobody in there. Like it's just, there's nobody anywhere. I'm starting to develop a theory this might be a St. Louis type situation.
What is that? I've never been to St. Louis either.
I think I talked about it on the podcast. The St. Louis is fake. It's a psyop. It's not a real place.
Not a real place.
So I
played in St. Louis too.
I got to give it a couple weeks, but Chicago has some odd vibes to it. But the parts I've seen have been good. It seems like a good town.
I think you're just used to New York, man, where it's just people everywhere. This might be a good change. If we might see a little softer side of Big T, because you got that angry New York vibe, Big T, a lot. You know what I mean?
That's true.
And I think this might bring you back down to that good old Georgia.
Well, let's not compare Chicago to like, good parts of the country, but It's definitely a much different city than New York.
So you say the difference is so far is like foot traffic?
Yeah, like crowdedness. I guess people are nicer that I've encountered for the most part.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Um, now there is this was going to be my original teed off was
Yeah, let's get into it. Just do your teed offs.
So I mentioned the other two. I had a mattress thing get fucked, whatever. And then this guy came to mount my TVs and did it completely off level. You could have eyeballed it better than this guy did it, and had already drilled the holes into the wall and put the mount up, and it was completely off level. And then so I ended up getting charged for the amount of time that he made it worse off than I started. Anyway,
damn.
But the original teed off was going to be the first restaurant I went to. I got the check, and there's I think it was 3%. It says employee health. I think it just said employee health. And then at the bottom of your bill, it says, we tack on, I think it's like I don't know if it's a citywide or a statewide thing, but it's like there's a 3% employee health insurance tax so that the restaurants can pay their employees health insurance. That's what you're supposed to be doing anyway. That's not my job.
Yeah, we might agree on that one. Yeah.
That's crazy. But but the kicker is it says, so they put it on there when you get the bill, and that says, if you want, you can request to have it taken off. And even I don't have the balls to do that.
Excuse me. Can you take your fucking sick ass shit off?
The bill would have to be, it'd have to be $500 for me to, because then it'd be what, $15 I would ask to have it taken off.
You would.
But when it's, $2, like it's just annoying, but that is crazy.
I'm with you. Pay your fucking work.
Just make the food more then.
I'm with you.
Just raise the price of everything 50 cents and nobody would be the wiser.
I'm not in disagreement. I've never heard of that though. Is that a Chicago thing? I've never heard of this.
I'd never seen it until I got here. I heard from somebody that it was a statewide thing, but I don't know if that's accurate or not. I can't imagine in some parts of Illinois people are paying that.
Like the rural parts?
Yeah.
Illinois general state sales and use tax 6.25% on general merchandise included as required. No, I don't think that's
just sales tax though.
Yeah, I don't.
It must just be Chicago.
I'm unsure. I have to do a little digger, but I don't think that is that might have just been that restaurant.
No, but I've heard other people talk about it at other restaurants. Okay. It didn't happen at the other restaurant I've been to, but I heard, here's an article. Restaurants adding surcharge to cover employee healthcare costs. So
I don't mind the sentiment. Like, I don't mind the sentiment because it just bothers me because, I get too deep into politics. I think healthcare is right. And so I think it should be something that is already taken care of. But so I don't mind the sentiment of me helping somebody get healthcare, but it's just I think it's a collective responsibility. I don't think it's an individual responsibility as far as me paying for it specifically.
Yeah, like that's what you hire people, that's what you're paying them for.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's really you're not even paying the employee, you're paying the employer because they're already paying for the health insurance. So you're paying them back for it.
Yeah, I think I mentioned this too. One time I went to Germany and I left a tip and they were like, no tips. I'm like, why not? And they were like, because we get paid enough. Like, we're good. Like over there, like the waiters and the waitresses, they get paid so that they can take care of all their living expenses already. That's how they get paid enough. And whole long conversation about that. But yeah, I just think it's just a shitty situation. The privatization of shit, but we won't get into that. Was that your teed off? You just mad at?
That was my original teed off. Then it became my mattress being delayed, and then it became the TVs. The twist, there was actually a double twist in the mattress story. The twist was they gave us a replacement mattress that's supposed to suck. And I laid on, I was like, I kind of fucking like this mattress.
Fuck around
And
with
then
that.
I've slept on it for 2 nights and it's actually horrible. I wake up in horrible back pain.
Are you a firm or soft mattress?
Yes, I want it like a rock.
Yeah, I'm the
And
same.
this is a memory foam 4-inch little
Yeah.
thing.
No, I'm an absolute firm mattress sleeper.
Agreed.
Like there are times like I would be in hotels and stuff, and it's like the soft shit, and you would think like that would feel good, but it just absolutely murders my back.
I hate it.
I think what was it? I was in Indianapolis. I think it was 2011, and I was sleeping, and then 2-3 in the morning, dog. I was like, I cannot take this shit. And I slept on the floor. I just slept on the floor in the middle of the night, dog. I would rather sleep on the floor a lot of the times. And actually like readjust shit. It kind of feels good sometimes sleeping on the floor.
If this mattress doesn't come this week, I may have to.
What size is your mattress?
King.
King size. That's right. Big T. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Stunt that shit. But you
No,
need more.
I
You
don't.
6 foot. You 6 foot.
Yeah, no, I sleep on a king.
Yeah.
I won't sleep on anything smaller.
As you should. Have you ever been to like anybody's like guest bedroom and the shit's like tiny as fuck?
Yes.
That's
I won't
why-
stay at people's houses either. Like my friends and I went to one of our friends' parents' house we stayed at a couple years ago. Beautiful house, like awesome house. But it's just like I can't sleep on like I can't take a risk that somebody's bed is like a memory foam or something like that. I'm like, I'll go to a hotel. Thank you. I appreciate it very much. But I made the decision. I was like, that's the last time I'll stay at like somebody's house.
What about your people's house? Like
What do you mean?
Like your mom's, your dad's, like brothers. I don't. Do you have siblings, bro?
When I go back to Nashville now, I usually stay at a hotel.
Damn. Not even the
crib?
That's wild, bro.
I usually stay at a hotel.
You know, I tell you that's wild. That's wild because I don't think there's anything. And my mom's bed is the same. It's soft as shit. But there's nothing better to me than waking up in the morning, dog, and smelling my mom's breakfast.
Yeah, but you go over there at 7:30 and you're fine.
I'm not gonna do that. But it's just I don't know, man. Your mom, she makes the bed for you. I don't know, bro. I
Hotels make the bed for you too.
Yeah, but it ain't for moms though. Moms do everything with love, man. They do everything because that's their job. It's different, man.
That's true. I don't disagree with you. I like to remove the middleman. Actually, I like to put a middleman, I guess.
Yeah, I was saying. So like when you go visit home, you wake up at 7 in the morning and go to your mom's house?
If I'm by myself, I will stay at their house. If I'm with my girlfriend, always go to a hotel.
Dang. So are your parents like super Christian, like y'all can't sleep in the same room type shit? Or
they wouldn't do that. No.
Right,
it's just like I would rather just have my own. It's not even a bed issue, it's a space issue. I would just rather have my own thing.
But do moms be cooking breakfast and shit in the morning?
Yeah. So go over there in the morning.
I couldn't. I don't know. Maybe I'm a mama's boy. So it's like I gotta stay with my mama.
I just like my own space.
I feel that. Bird left the nest and he's not coming back. I don't give a fuck if he's visiting. He's not. Even if he's home.
No, I'll come back from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m.
And he's gonna make his nest elsewhere. Yeah. I'm with you.
And then I'll go 5 minutes down the road and I'll be back in the morning.
She's never asked. This is actually intriguing. She's never asked, like, why don't you just stay here?
Oh no, she does every single time. She gets mad about it. But I'm like, I'm not doing that.
That's actually wild. I think you're the only person I know that does this. I'm sure you're not the only one in the
I
world,
just like a space. I like my own space.
She probably takes it personal, man.
Nah. I bet I call my mom. I bet I call my mom more than 99% of 26-year-old men in America.
How many times do you call your mom?
3 times a week.
Yeah.
Sometimes 4.
That's just to tap in, shoot the shit.
Yeah, talk to the dogs.
What?
I talk to the dogs on FaceTime. They hear my voice and they look at the phone.
Okay. Talk to the dogs.
They
Okay.
love it.
I'm sure they do, man. And so you tap in with moms, and you just refuse to stay. Is it a? Does she like? Is it a thing? This is funny to me. Is it a thing?
It's not. It doesn't cause any problems. It's just like every time I'm coming to Nashville, it's like, why won't you just stay here? And I'm like, because I can not have to. You have your house. I'll have my own little space, and then I'll come over.
Baby bird left the nest. I would do that, like, because like my mom and dad are separated, right? And like if I was to come stay with like, I mean, he lived down the road, but like if he was in another state, like I would probably get a hotel. I would get a hotel because it's like, I don't know, my dad is not like welcoming as far as like, I mean, he's a good dude, it's my dog, but it's just like, I don't know, I don't feel like that homely like embrace like when I go over to his house versus when I go to my mom's, right? When I come to my dad, it's like, what's up, partner? How you doing? My dog, whoop, whoop. How's this? How's that? All right, I'm out. But like my mom, it's like we hang like, I wake up in the morning, she's drinking coffee. She starts to, what do you want to eat, son? Like, I don't know, man. This is nothing like a motherly
I think
embrace.
it's also that if people were coming here, I would much prefer them to stay at a hotel than stay at my house. So I will do the same thing.
Oh, okay. It don't explain the mom thing. So you don't want your mom to stay at your place?
It's not that I don't want, she can come over again, come over at 8 a.m. I'll be up. I'll be here. Just go. You can have your own space right down the road.
Yo, you really gonna be like a funny old dude, bro. You be a funny ass.
I've told you I've been gearing up for it for 25 years. I'm waiting.
You're gonna be a funny old dude, man. That's gonna be hilarious. Interesting, man. Interesting. So what do you feel about that? Has your app updated yet for Twitter? It's
Yeah,
my shit is just X now.
I have Twitter on my first page of apps. So I keep, and where I'm used to seeing a blue thing, it's now black. So I think, oh, that's not Twitter. And I scroll back to this, the page before your first page of apps. Oh, that was Twitter. I gotta go.
Well, my shit's still blue.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
I think most people's updated like yesterday.
My shit's still blue, but there's an
Oh,
X
you got to hang on to that.
I don't know how. I mean, I don't know.
I've got the X.
I hate it.
Have you seen the strobe light X they put on top of the Twitter building that's like shining into people's apartments?
Yeah. Elon is like he likes fucking with people just for the sake of fucking with people. And it's not for any particular reason. It's just because he can.
But it's so old now. Like, it's not funny. It's just like dumb.
Yeah. But the problem is like his sycophants, the people that love Elon, like, and defend the shit out of him. Like, it doesn't matter what he does. It's like they keep egging him on. Yeah, keep fucking with them. Keep fucking with them. And it's like, you're not really fucking with anybody. You're just doing stupid shit. And it's funny to me.
I think those people are dwindling, though. I think he's really lost a lot of people in the last 6 months. I think so. I can't quantify it, but I think he still definitely has a set of hardcore fans. But I think average people who are like, oh, like he made Tesla, like he seems like a smart guy, are now like, this guy kind of sucks.
Yeah.
I think people who didn't care one way or the other about him, most of them dislike him now, which is me.
Yeah. He don't bother me like with anything. I just think he's just like a little spoiled ass rich dude that just be fucking with people because he can. But
I just can't get over, you could have bought 20 sports franchises, just like the coolest thing you could possibly own.
Yeah.
And instead he bought Twitter and is completely ruining it.
Just drove that shit to the ground. The X thing is weird to me. It's because it's like, it doesn't have any kind of explanation. It's just, it's now X. And also, like, from a branding perspective, dumb. Like, super dumb.
Twitter has like never really made money. It's been, but the one thing it had going for it was that it's one of the, I don't know, 25 most recognizable logos in the world.
That's what I'm saying. That from a branding perspective, that made zero sense because it's like even though it's not one of the most used, I think it's like what it was like. I'm spitballing, but it's like one of the. I think it's top 10 most used social media apps, but it's not like
Oh, for sure, it's like 4 or 5, I think.
Yeah, but it's not like but the discrepancy between Twitter usages and like Instagram or Facebook, it's a big gap, right? But still, even on Instagram or Facebook, it would be links to Twitter on like breaking news. That's what Twitter was for, right? That's what it was great at. And even every business that you have, your yoga studio, your fucking coffee shop, your everything, they have like follow us here, boom, boom, and Twitter is like so like people have to redo that, and it's almost like not worth it because all the traffic being funneled away from Twitter because of all this shit that he's been doing. And it's like he has this grandiose vision of what he wants, but it does. I don't know. I could be wrong, man. Like I'll be the first one saying I'm wrong, but it don't make no sense to me, bro. It makes
Well, I don't remember if we discussed this. I don't think we did. Have you seen he's tried to make every company he's been a part of called X?
Yeah, it started with PayPal in like the 90s.
Yeah, he wanted to call PayPal X and then named his kid X. We did talk about this, I think, now that I think about
it. That part, yeah. But again, no reason. Like, what's the reason?
You're obsessed with X.
Like X. You just like it. And then the X on top of the building, I guess it didn't get cleared like with the code or whatever, like the city ordinance. Like
that was when they were taking down the Twitter sign. The San Francisco like cop showed up and they're like, you don't have a permit to do this. Yeah. You have to stop right now. And so half the sign still says Twitter and the other half the letters are taken down.
And that's like the simple shit like that. It's just like, what? Just go. You're Elon Musk. You can call anybody and get that done. But you just refuse to do it. I don't know, man. That dude.
He's just a weird guy.
Yeah, I think it's what happens like when you get bullied and shit. Maybe not because he grew up with money too though. So I don't know. Maybe he's always insecurity, man. That's what I see. I see a whole bunch of insecurity. Like a dude just can't. When he bought Twitter, and one of the biggest want moments of my life, he bought Twitter and he walks in there with the sink.
Yeah.
Shit was the corniest shit I've ever seen though.
Like that's just him though.
That was supposed to hit. That shit he thought he ate. He did not.
I don't know how you can, like, Tesla by all measures, great company. Like they make really good cars. Like SpaceX, I guess, is a success. I don't know all that much about the space industry, but seems to be like doing well. And then this guy buys Twitter and just runs it into the ground.
Well, actually, he has run everything into the ground he's ever done. And Tesla is low-key the same. Tesla is there's a lot of big misconception thinking he came up with Tesla. It was his. It's not. He bought his way into the board. Which is what he usually does on all his companies. He buys his way into the board and then has a voice. I think he does own a patent though. I think his patent is the charger port. But even then, that's a bad idea. Because his whole idea was to put up Tesla stations, like charging stations all across the country, but like not convertible. And so like you have to get a Tesla rather than it being like a regular EV. And so like even his idea is just greedy as fuck. But I don't know. Anyway, I'm gonna spend the whole time talking about Elon. I like his last thing. I like the Tesla, but I think I said this before, but it's kind of like marketed as like a luxury car. It's just not. And so it's like little things, air conditioning things, rear view mirrors, stuff like that is very cheaply designed, cheaply made, I should say. And over the years, so I've had mine since maybe 2018, 17, 18. And I think it's a really dope car. It's very convenient because fuck gas. Just the inconvenience of putting gas in all the time. And now I have a bigger car. I bought a Escalade. And
nice.
Yeah, because I got all these goddamn kids. And so the amount of money I spend on gas is just like I get tired of just filling up. And I hadn't been to the gas station in 3 years because of my Tesla. It's convenient. I like it, but again, he's doing all this other extra shit to it. It's just that's him. But
How many miles a gallon's an Escalade getting these days?
I have no idea, man. That
You just
that
when it says empty, you go fill it up.
yeah.
Let
That's
me
bad.
check.
I know, man. That's bad. I think I don't even know how much gas is in Texas now, and I've been filling it up for about a good 3 4 months.
Do you have four-wheel drive or no? Oh, they're the same.
Um,
About 19 highway.
I get 19 miles per gallon.
Correct.
Is that good? I don't even know. I don't know shit about cars.
Not real, but it probably has a huge gas tank.
I think right now in Texas, it stops around when I'm on E around $90, $80, $90.
That's fair.
Yeah, I don't know enough about it. That's a big Achilles heel. It's like I'm not that kind of guy. I'm not like the honey, I'll fix it guy. Working out on a car on a Saturday. I don't know shit about cars. They probably stiffen me if I take it in because I don't know shit about that. Is that you? You that guy?
No,
No.
no,
You
me
have to
neither.
have like you have like a trade that you enjoy, like something like
A trade,
well, you like a country dude, so I figure like I like working
but
on
not
tractors.
like
Like
I have friends that are country. Like, let me show you. Um, like one of my best friends just bought a new tractor and he keeps posting this on his Instagram story with these like hilarious captions. It says he posted his new tractor. It says the West wasn't won on salad. Like those are country dudes.
yeah. So
Like I am from the same areas, but I don't have that level of, like I don't live on the farm.
right.
Like he lives on a farm, has cows, tractors, and stuff. Like
What
that's
do people
country.
do with cows? Okay, so when I was 12, dog, when I was 12, my mom's my grandma, she my grandma and grandpa split. She was with this dude named Jim. This guy's named Jim. And when I was 12, in the summer, he was like, why don't you, he was country as fuck. He's like, why don't you come on up here and help me wrestle these cows or whatever the fuck. He says some shit like that. And I'm like, what? And my mom's like, just go to the summer and hang out with him. And I was like, all right, bet. And so my grandma, they all set this whole thing up. And so for 2 weeks in the summer when I was 12 years old, I lived in the wilderness, like on some like alone shit. You know what I'm saying? Like a TV show. Like I lived in the wilderness. We lived off the land. We used to fish. He had some like canned foods that we used to eat. But like it was just me and him in a tent for 2 weeks straight. And this nigga would move cattle. And that's what his job was to do, is he would move cattle. And so I had never been on a horse before, bro. And my very first time on a horse, I'm moving cattle. And like he's teaching me wild, dude, which I loved. That's the one thing I loved about that experience, was that he was like, fuck it, you're an athlete, you'll figure it out. I'm like, all right, bet. And so like he just threw me in the fire, dog. But he would like move cattle, and like everybody out there had cattle. What do they do with the do they eat? Do they sell them? Like what do people do
Some
with
people
cows?
sell them. Some people use it for milk and, till they die. Some people eat them, like all sorts of stuff.
Makes sense. I guess yeah. I just never knew.
Um,
I'm like, everybody has cows. I don't know what the fuck they do with
do you like fishing?
them. Do I like fishing? I never caught something that I didn't eat. Like, and so I caught a few and we ate them, but no, it's boring.
I can't. The few times I've done it, I can't stand it.
It's like you're just sitting there waiting. It's
Like
not
I
for me.
get the idea of like I think I like baseball for the reason that some people like fishing, which is that
Very
it's
similar things.
it's an easier going type deal. You can go out there, sit with your friends, drink some beer, wait till if a fish comes, awesome. If it doesn't, whatever. Like I just don't, it doesn't do it for me.
Yeah, that and I don't like water.
That's true also.
Not fishing in no fucking ocean for sure, but like I was
Well,
on a
yeah, don't
lake.
go. But I'm,
Yeah, I
lake
was on
and
a
stuff.
lake with my first girlfriend, and the first fish I caught, I was at the first. No, I think it was the second time. Second time I went fishing, I caught a fish, and I seen it like struggling to breathe in the bucket, and it was like, and I was like, oh my god, I feel horrible. So I threw him back, and I was like, yo, and I was like, I can't do it. I'm not killing him. But yeah, I think he had caught some fish when I was younger, and then we ate it. I don't feel bad when they go on the plate though.
Speaking of lakes, did you see two more people died at Lake Lanier this weekend?
I
One
think it's
dude, one dude jumped into the water, got electrocuted, and died.
electrocuted about what?
I don't know.
Stay away from the water, man. There's nothing,
I just don't go to Lake Lanier.
or just I mean, or do
I'm reading to see what if it says what he got electrocuted by.
they
Jumped
can't be?
off a dock into the lake and was shocked by electricity in the water.
What does that mean?
I don't know.
Is that a common thing? I've never heard of that before.
No, that's for sure doesn't exist anywhere except Lake Lanier. That's purely a Lake Lanier. There is like it is a neighborhood under there. Like but I don't know how that. I don't know.
I'm pretty sure that electricity been died out. Nah, man.
Yeah, I don't know.
Is that what actually happened? This sounds like some huff.
I swear. I'll send you the article.
Is it like from a reputable source?
Yes, it's from the Atlanta ABC station.
Damn. That's crazy. I don't know, man. Another thing
Don't go to Lake Lanier. Plenty of Great Lakes in Georgia without.
If you're stupid enough to think that you're gonna be the one that survives, just keep going. Just keep going. Man, electrocuted after jumping. Fuck. Hold on, that means he had to be the only one in the lake because water is a conductor.
I don't know.
I don't know about it. But another one of the things I wanted to do as a segment with me and Big T, I thought it'd be fun, man, is we gonna both have two change my minds on some Steven Crowder shit. So we're gonna try to change each other's minds, not on no combative shit. With the thing I like about you, Big T, is that I'm the opposite end of the spectrum as you, and you're the opposite end of the spectrum as me. But like we found this synergy to where like I genuinely like you as a human being. I
I
genuinely
like you too.
yeah. And so it's like we have this like cool little friendship, man. That's fun for me. And so I thought it'd be fun to like try to pull each other to the center a little bit on a couple issues, man. So I don't know if you want to. I'll kick it off. So first thing I want you.
So
All right,
we
go ahead.
both came with like a serious one and then like a not as serious one.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
do
yeah.
do the serious ones first.
All right, I'll do the serious one for the first one. I think you should change your mind on is socialism. I know you probably
Okay, so we're just gonna do the exact same in reverse. So
Okay,
you go
okay.
first.
okay, bet. The reason why I feel like you should change your mind on socialism is because I don't think it's branded well from a right-leaning perspective. I think it's an umbrella term used to demonize anybody who criticizes capitalism. And I think the majority of people that criticize socialism would 1,000% benefit from it. And I think it's criticized as government gimme stuff. And I don't know your understanding of it. But this is why I feel like it would benefit you. And I think that and that it would benefit the economy. Because I think the privatization, which is the definition of capitalism, right? It's the privatization of the means of production. And I think that lends itself to an unchecked system of greed, which is what we have today. And its end game is absolutely monopoly, which I think is not a good thing for the economy because then they dictate the price of goods, they dictate the you know the policies around the business structure in America, and I think that's not a good thing. So the socialization of things, I think, will absolutely benefit workers, yourself included. I think your situation is a prime example of this. But another one is I don't know if you ever heard about ocean spray. Have I talked about ocean spray on this podcast?
I think once, yeah.
Okay. So for people that haven't heard that part, ocean spray is a co-op. It is a worker co-op, which is a socialized industry. And so Ocean Spray is a very successful juice company, right? I'm pretty sure everybody's had Ocean Spray. And so what it is a collection of farmers, and Ocean Spray is owned collectively by the farmers. It's not one person. And so they have a co-op in which they lobby, they make all of their decisions together rather than having one person tell everybody what to do and set all the prices. I think that kind of form is absolutely beneficial. And I think it absolutely helps workers get their voices heard because the workers are the owners. And I think that if it's branded in that way, that it's not for the government to give people handouts. If it was branded in a way that says this gives workers, it's for the blue collar worker, it's for the people that are struggling in the industry in the day to day, making check to check or living check to check. It's for them. It's to take ownership and hold them accountable. If it's branded like that, I feel like it would be more palatable to people who are in love with capitalism.
So I don't disagree with you when you talked about greed. Like there's always going to be greedy people.
Great.
Okay, so you were talking about ocean spray
too. On both sides too. But so like there are greedy socialists, absolutely. But I think it helps a check and balance, right? If there's people on the board with you that have the same amount of power that you do rather than one. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, so you talked about ocean spray. If a group of people who own a company want to do something like that, I think that's great. Go ahead and do it. But when you have an entire economy running on that, it's going to be the government owning that instead of, the ocean spray farmers. So that's where you lose me. If a group of people want to do something like that, awesome.
But that's what socialism is. Like,
but do you?
I was gonna say there's socialized industries, right? And I don't think you're ever gonna get around the government having a hand in the economy, and I don't think you would want that, honestly.
Sure, no, yes,
and so,
but to the extent that it exists now is very different than what it would be in a purely socialistic economy.
I don't think so, because I think this kind of thing would start from the ground up, right? This kind of thing would start from the ground up. So it starts early in educating people on the benefits of socialism and an economy and a society that because I'm not a socialist, right? I'm further out, but I understand in order to get from a capitalist society to one that would be my utopia, the transition period would be a collective ownership of things. But as little kids, we're kind of taught differently. We're kind of taught to go out and grind and get it, and it's you versus the world. That kind of feel. And I think if you set that precedent young, then you realize the levying power of people that we have. So what I mean by that is your worry about it is the government at the end of it. And my thing is, if you educate a society on the power of voting the correct people in, then you'll have more people taking part in the process of voting, which is democrat. It's the democracy that I feel like your side of the table always loves to tout, which is like, this is a democracy. Let everybody have a voice, but y'all cut off that voice when it comes to workers. You know what I mean? Which is what unions exist because of, capitalist structures, because the workers need a voice. But I feel like there's some common ground there.
So the other thing I wanted when you talked about like the greed is, and this is part of what I was going to do capitalism. So we're basically just going back and forth on this one.
I mean, hit me with it. New York.
The greed often breeds outstanding innovation. Like some of the best things we enjoy came from people who were really greedy and made a shit ton of money off of it. And like
Give me an
it
example.
breeds competition. Like Steve Jobs was pretty greedy guy, I guess. I don't know, his charitable contributions or anything like that, but he made a fuck ton of money.
But what? So so those kind of instances like Steve Jobs or Bill Gates or stuff like that, I don't necessarily think that it is some random. This is just my opinion on it, right? I don't think it's just like some random um, uh, kid that was innovative, right? What I think it was a product, an inevitable product of resourcing youth. And so if you go to his neighborhood when he was growing up, he just happened to have computers in his schools in an area where most schools don't have those computers and access to those resources. And I think if you allocate funds to resource schooling in all neighborhoods, not just wealthy ones, then you're going to have more innovation because they have more, the odds are higher of you getting it in the hands of people who can create and do great things. But your odds get very small in our society because we don't allocate resources to all those neighborhoods in a proper way, I don't think. And so yes, he was innovative and yes, he did his thing, but um again, the odds were in his favor.
Well, if you're saying like fund schools more, like I'm all for that. That's great. But like you could say like everything that exists was inevitable about anything. But like somebody had to do it.
Yeah, but I don't think it was a product of capitalism. I think Steve Jobs was going to be Steve Jobs no matter what. But how many Steve Jobs are we not hearing about because they grew up worrying about the lights being on?
Again, like if you're saying give more money to funding education, awesome, great. That's the other thing. So do you think in like a purely socialistic economy, do you think we would have the same level of innovation and, competition that we do now?
When you say competition, what do you mean?
Like there are people competing to make the best TVs so that you will buy their TVs, people making the best food, whatever.
I think there are aspects of competition that benefit, but I also think there are aspects of competition that derail progress. Um, so I think it's like it depends on the product. If your example is TVs, I don't think that competition necessarily will enhance the making of a TV. I don't.
Well, so I asked that because you, in general, you seem to be pessimistic when it comes to the human race. Is that fair to say?
Oh yeah.
Okay. So that in my mind is difficult to jive with an economic system that would require a lot of altruistic deeds to achieve the same level of like what we have now.
Yeah, no, I think people will always there will always be people that are assholes. Absolutely. But I also think that we are products of the society and the society breeds us to be this way, right? We are taught from a young age to go fend and make it on your own. It is you, buddy. Rather than it takes a village to raise a kid. And I think it's the mindset that seeps in. I think that is now the emerging mindset amongst our youth, right? It's if you ask kids what they want to be nowadays, it's a YouTube creator, it's this, it's that, right? It's all about likes, follows, stuff like that. That is actually validating for them. And I think it's a product of the society that we created, right? It's what happens when you interweave entertainment with uh, media. It becomes who gets more ads. It becomes this never-ending cycle of we have to grow, we have to grow. And so George Carlin said this a long time ago. He said, if you know, roughly I'm paraphrasing, but he said, if you scratch a pessimist, behind every pessimist is an optimist. I want to be optimistic about human race, right? But I don't have much to go off of. I think my goal is to have the best odds, meaning like this is why the ocean spray example is so dope to me, is because you have a collective of people that say we want to do good, we want to have a good product, and we'll have checks and balances, right? They have a self-governing system that uh that has been extremely profitable and successful. And I think there's countless amounts of companies out there that do the same. It's less likely for a collective of people to be greedy in a market than it is for one person, in my opinion. And I think I would ride for that fact, rather than I think what we have now is even if you look at your TV analogy, right? Your TV analogy, there's like a handful of TV companies. And it's because every time, I think we've discussed this briefly, but every time a small company that makes great TVs gets to a certain point, they can't compete in the larger market, so they get bought out. And so it's not a real free market.
Well, that's there are industries that are oligopolies. I mean, you can't have very many airplane companies. It's very expensive to make. So naturally that industry is going to have Boeing and Airbus, and that's pretty much it. But like, think of how many family-owned restaurants there are. Like, that's a relatively low barrier to entry. So you can have more of those. That's definitely
right.
an industry where there's only going to be several, competitors.
Let's look at family-owned restaurants. Like family-owned restaurants, they're all local, right? And if they were to expand and get big enough, what happens? They get bought out, and they will
Not
continue.
necessarily.
Name a family-owned restaurant that has surpassed or has grown to and this might
Papa John's.
Who are they owned by?
Papa John.
Are they?
He started his own pizza place when he was like 20s, I think.
Uh-huh.
And it was like one store. I think it happens more than you realize. It's just that now those are like established brands.
Yeah, no, I think it's possible. I think it's like I said, I'd have to do more research on Papa. I don't know enough about Papa John's, but I think in a collective, like, so even if Papa John's, right? Let's say Papa John's is a multi-billion-dollar company. Even in that, I think it would benefit that company to distribute the wealth rather than have one guy own it. I think it's just more beneficial for the cohesiveness of the um of the company. One of the biggest things that I've learned from you and interacting with you is that I used to think Republicans were pieces of shit. I really do. And I still think a lot of them are. But I think there are genuine disagreements on how to get to the same goal, right? Economics being one of them, like abortion being one of them, right? I think abortion is a big sticking point, that I really do understand both sides of that argument, but I of course I'm pro-life, but I'm pro-choice, but I do understand the pro-life. If you're arguing in good faith, I understand the argument. And so like a true capitalist that I argue with, that says I just feel like it's the privatization enables the American dream to be more. And if I'm hearing you correctly, that's what your main argument is the privatization enables the American dream to be more plausible for the average man.
I do think that, and I also think the problems that come with capitalism and a privatized economy are more contained, I guess would be the word, than what you could have with an economy essentially run by the government.
Yeah. No, I understand. I understand. Like I said, I think socialism is badly marketed because it doesn't necessarily have to be run by the government. But you're saying the end would be the government's ownership.
On a whole scale, on a macro scale, that's what it would be.
I understand what you're saying. Yeah.
But like the ocean spray thing, like on a small scale, if people all buy into that and they can work. And then if they want to do that, that's awesome. And then the market can say, yeah, we think this is a great product. Like, we're going to buy that.
Yeah. I think that's the biggest thing is I would rather have companies not be able to influence the market with anything other than their product. And I think that in a capitalist economy, more than likely that is going to be the case. But no, I hear you, man. I don't want to spend too much time on it because I just wanted it to be lighthearted. And yours was capitalism, so we hit two birds with one stone right there.
That was fortuitous.
There you go. And so on a lighter note, what I want to change your mind about is, and I don't know shit about baseball, but I feel like you'd be a happier human if you switch your favorite baseball team from the Atlanta Braves to something else.
They're the best team in baseball right now. What could make me happier? Really?
Oh, yes. They are. See, shit, I shouldn't.
Yes, they are the favorites to win the World Series.
Oh fuck! I had no idea.
They are, I believe, 67-36.
Holy shit! I don't know shit about baseball. Well,
wait. Okay, continue because this is going to be funny now.
Well, that was my. I didn't have like any real. I just always heard you complain about the Braves, but I don't know enough about the Braves. I was just like, well, shit, bro, just switch teams. But like, because like for
well, first of all, it doesn't work like that.
You can't switch teams. Why?
I mean, you've had favorite sports teams in your life, like the Lakers. Like, what if I said just become, like when the Lakers were shitty a couple years ago, like just become a Celtics fan or something?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I can't do that.
Like, that's just not how it works.
Okay. Oh, I did. Okay, so when I was young, right? When I was young, I was a Chicago Bulls fan. But what I realized was I wasn't a Chicago Bulls fan. I was a Michael Jordan fan, right? And
right.
So when Michael Jordan retired, I was like, I don't give a fuck about the Bulls at all. I wasn't, but then again, and then I wasn't even rooting for the Wizards. And so I was just like, I was a free agent. And then being, my dad's son, he's from LA. You started watching ball with him. I naturally gravitated toward the Lakers. And so at a younger age, I was a Laker fan. And it's just, you're right. I can't switch at this.
Now, before 2021, that would have been a much more viable argument because they had done nothing but flounder and find new ways to fail consistently my entire life.
They came through for you.
But then they won the World Series. Last year, they were really good and lost in the playoffs, which happens. This year, they're awesome again, and they're going to be great for the next 10 years.
Well,
it's all cyclical. They will suck again at some point, and then they'll be good again after that.
Well, then shit, man. I'm happy you're happy with your baseball team then, man. Shit.
No, right now, they're awesome. And they're coming to Chicago this weekend. I'm very excited about it.
There you go. That was probably the worst change in my mind I could have done.
Yeah, they're 67-36 right now. They lead the NL East by 11.5 games.
There have been that many games in baseball. I'm so bad.
They still got 60 more.
Holy shit.
To put it, the Braves division lead of 11.5 games is more than the other 5 divisions in baseball combined.
Jesus.
The other 5 divisions have 1.5, half a game, 1 game, half a game, 2 games.
And I'm trying to convince you. That's crazy. You know what I sound like? I sound like a girlfriend trying to talk sports with his boyfriend that, she don't know what the fuck she talks. That's what I sound like with baseball.
My girlfriend has ended up liking sports a little too much, actually.
Oh.
Like when we started dating, she didn't really follow sports at all. And now she's like, Tennessee basketball is the one that she's really into now. And it's to a point that I wish she didn't know as much as she does.
Damn.
Like they'll be winning by like 17 points with 5 minutes left, and I'll be on my phone or something, and she'll be like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Watching the game." She's like, the game's not over." I'm like, yes, it is. They're up by 6. She's like, they could still, and she cares too much now. But
yeah, well, I mean, she's trying to get
no, I
close,
love it.
man.
Like,
Yeah,
it's great.
yeah.
Um,
All right,
okay, so
I dropped the ball on mine. What's yours?
my other, this will be, you will have thoughts on this.
Okay.
Mine was also sports, and it's I want you to explain to me
Mhm.
why you still don't like Josh Heupel's offense, despite let me give you some numbers from 2022.
Okay, yeah.
They led the country in scoring at 46 points a game,
Mhm.
525 yards a game.
Mhm.
Opponent now, what I've heard you say before is tires out the defense, gives opponents, better 23 points a game from the opponents. So they're doubling up their opponents last year. Best offense in the country. Seems like it should be another top 3-5 offense in college football again this year. So why are you so anti? Because it's awesome. By the way, just incredibly fun to watch also, which is all I've asked for out of Tennessee football for a very long time. Just be entertaining. Even if you don't win, just be fun.
Gotcha. Do you have the time of possession stats?
I can find that for you.
Because you're right. My critique of the offense is I don't think I've ever said that they can't score points. I don't think that I've ever said that they can't get yards.
Sure.
I think that the offense is not conducive to a championship run.
Tennessee averaged 25 minutes and 14 seconds of possession last year.
Versus, do you know the opposite? Is that too much digging?
34-45, just the rest of the 60.
The opposite, that was stupid. Okay.
So they're about 10 minutes less.
Yeah, they're behind, and I think that is my main thing. So when you talk about ball, I think you're so like when we played the Colts, for instance, right? We played the Colts in the height of the Peyton Manning era, and our game plan wasn't necessarily to stop Peyton Manning or Tom Brady. Like we played them both, right? Our game plan was to keep them off the field, and you did that by getting a 3-yard run, getting a 2-yard out, converting on a 3rd and 5, and then that runs the clock. That is, like, to me, what championship football teams do, right? And we never won. There's a litany of reasons as to why, but we had the recipe for it, right? And I think if you look at the Alabamas, and I don't know their stats, and I could be wrong about this, but if you look at the Alabamas, and I think the reason why they've been so dominant is because they've been run heavy, but also able to throw the ball. And I think that part of being run heavy and having a great defense is that you give them less opportunities to score, so they're always playing catch up. And I think when you score so fast, like again, it tires your defense out. Because I could be wrong about this too, but their defense isn't necessarily built to stop the run either, right?
The run defense last year was actually pretty good. The pass defense was bad.
Okay, see, and that's another thing. If you don't have a stout defense, and your goal as an offense should be to keep them rested, because if they're already getting torched, then we need to keep them rested. And so your goal should be sustainable drives. Your goal should not be quick hits. I mean, don't get me wrong, we'll take a score all day, but I just don't think over the long haul, it's just a recipe for like winning on a consistent basis, especially against teams who, have NFL talent. And I think a lot of those stats, the college stats can be skewed, right? NFL stats in these categories are a little more important, because in college you get a Louisiana Monroe that you're playing against, who all of them dudes, none of them are going to the league, right? Whereas you play at Georgia, 40% of the defense you playing is going to be on an NFL roster, right? Very different things and very different goals as an offense. I like it. I like it like you. Like, it's fun to watch. You know what I'm saying? It's cool when I go back and, it's fun seeing ball getting thrown around. But as far as like winning consistently in the SEC, I think if you look at the past teams, that's been the recipe.
But they did that though last year. They won almost every game.
No, but they lost the ones that they needed to. That's my goal.
They beat Alabama.
Yeah, but I don't think.
Also, I think if you watched more college football now, like even like Alabama runs not a similar style of offense because Heupels is very unique in some of the formations and spacing and stuff he does, but a relatively similar style in that it's up tempo, throw the ball a lot. It's not Alabama and Georgia of 10 years ago.
Yeah, and that could be the case too. Maybe I need to watch more football because I mean this segment is changed my mind. I'm open to my mind being changed. So I think if maybe I'll watch college. I can't commit to something like that. I'll watch a little more college football this year.
Give me 6 UT games. Watch half of them.
Okay, I'm going to the Texas A&M one, so I'll definitely be watching.
That'll be a good game.
Yeah. So all right, I'll give you 6. I'll give you 6 UT games.
Skip the non-conference bullshit ones.
Gotcha.
And like Vandy and Missouri.
Is there any non-conference ones that are like big?
They open with Virginia, but Virginia's bad. They're like UT's like a 28-point favorite.
Yeah, okay. All right. That and I'm a fan of Buddy, the who was the backup to Hendon?
Joe Milton. He's going to be fucking awesome.
Yeah, I think he actually has one of the strongest arms I've ever seen in person.
They asked him at SEC Media Days, somebody said, "What's the furthest you've thrown a football?" And he said, "I'm not going to tell you the number, but it starts with a 9." I was like, hell yeah.
That's crazy. No, I absolutely believe that too. He can flick that thing. But yeah, I'm open to my mind being changed, man. I don't want bad for UT, dog. I think he's done so much good for that program, and I also think he's been so nice to and welcoming to like past players there.
He's awesome.
Yeah, he's been the man. So like I don't got no issues with Buddy at all. I just think that fast pace, it's just hard for your defense to get rest, man. And I think I don't know if it's sustainable because I know that was the problem last year, and that's I think that's why Georgia won. Georgia won because of their defense, and they was always well rested and they ran the ball well. But I could be wrong.
Well, they have. I mean, Georgia. You can't compare anyone to Georgia. They've got a 5-star at every single position and a 4-star backing them up. It's bullshit and it's not fair. But
yeah, GT donors just start emptying their pockets, man.
No, we're getting them. We're getting them.
Don't they have a dude who was like Hawaiian who was supposed to be like some 5-star quarterback?
Yeah, he was the number 1 quarterback in the country for this past class. So he'll play a little bit this year, I'm sure. But I'm sure they'd like to redshirt him so he can play in 4 games, and then he'll be the quarterback after this year.
Is that how redshirting works now?
You can play in 4 games. Yeah.
What? When did they change that?
4 or 5 years ago.
Oh man, I know.
Which is way more fair than if you come in 1 game. Like that was stupid.
Man, I had a couple of homies got juiced because like they had no because you still suit up as a freshman when you redshirt. You know what I'm saying? You just know you're not gonna get a game. And a couple of dudes got hurt, and then one of my mans had to go in, and they burned his red shirt for a game.
Yeah. So now you can play as much in those 4 as you want. You could play the entirety of 4 games.
That's crazy. Well, and that's actually fair. You know, I'm happy that they made that rule change because they was fucking dudes over.
But yeah, I'm at the point in the summer now where I turn on full games from last season and just watch them. So like last night, I watched the Kentucky game that we won 44-6. This is awesome.
That's wild, dog.
I'll just when I'm after this, when I'm working from home, I've watched the Florida game from last year, Kentucky, and I've seen Bama so many times. I've got to wait a little bit before I put it on again because I've watched that 25 times.
Damn. Do you watch the Georgia game?
Hell no. The Georgia game wasn't even. It was very boring because I think it was 27-13 or something and we played horribly. The South Carolina game I'll never watch again ever.
That was bad. They should have won that game.
Yeah, that sucked. But soon enough it'll be a 12-team playoff and we'll be in it every year.
There you go, man. I think that was a dope change your mind segment. Might dip back into it a little later on. I am considering changing my mind on the Tennessee thing for sure. I'll double back and I'll give it another honest go. I doubt you're changing your mind on the socialism thing. I'm definitely. Not
I think
but we found. I think we found common ground.
I think you got it right. Like different solutions. We want the same thing for the most part.
Yeah, I think
different ideas of what would work to do that. But
most people on that side of the aisle, I would say argue in good faith, but I think a lot of people just take opposite stances of their political opponents, quote unquote. And I think that's where I used to be as far as like fuck them, but like I can't pay attention to those cats, but more people who are interested in like good faith conversations, like just like yourself. So I appreciated the dialogue, man. Yeah, that was dope. I think we get into the Oscar De La Hoya interview now. It's a really dope interview. He was wide open. I think we did a good job talking to him. It's funny, it's light, and it's deep. It's really dope. I had a good conversation.
Okay, we welcome on a very special guest of Macrodosing, the Golden Boy himself, Oscar De La Hoya. The Golden Boy is streaming on Max. Check it out. It's a great movie. If you're interested in Oscar De La Hoya's life, it goes behind the scenes in ways that I don't think that you've really allowed people to examine your life in before. So very happy to have you on the show. First of all, right off the bat, we should talk about that chair that you've got set up right now, because when you stood up a second ago, everybody on this podcast was like, damn, that looks like a comfortable ass chair. Like, we wish we had that sort of chair. You have good taste in interior decoration, my friend.
Yeah, it's about 60 years old, custom made.
Wow.
I've had it for a long time. I got it. I think it was like at an auction or something.
Yeah, it's a good one. I wouldn't let go of that chair if I were you. So believe it or not, on this podcast, we have a professional boxer, and he's 1-0 lifetime. He defeated Jose Canseco, knocked him out, TKO'd him in the first 15 seconds. It's Billy Football. Billy Football actually got into the ring, stepped in the ring, 2 years ago, Billy?
Yeah.
2.5 years ago?
Yeah, it's been a long time now, but
Wow.
once upon a time, I got my boxing license from the state of New York.
What you knock him out with?
I hit him with a right hook in the clinch, and more of a TKO.
I think Billy knocked him out with high blood pressure. I think Jose had to tap out right after 15 seconds. Yeah, the triglycerides got to him. But we'll get to some more of Billy's accolades in a little bit. But right off the bat, want to talk to you about the movie that it's called The Golden Boy, and it's on HBO Max. And I want to know from your perspective why you decided to move forward with this project right now.
Yeah, I mean, I just felt that it was time to tell the truth. It was time to just speak my side of the story, and it doesn't really tell you all of my life, but most of it, just how everything unfolded when I started fighting at 5 years old, and just all the pressures, from family and friends, and then the gold medal in 1992. All the pressure from the world, basically, to be the golden boy, and here I am. It's basically living a double life, and I just felt that now's the time, because I'm now good with myself. I'm now at peace with myself, so it's like it's now easier for me to just say the truth.
Yeah, there's a story that you get into a little bit in the movie about your mother, and how there was a story that your mother wanted you to bring home the gold medal to East LA,
Right.
and how that was kind of a myth that you helped to spin up and perpetuate over the years. Can you talk a little bit about what happened in that scenario, and how it came to be this big story that you helped to create?
Yeah. Well, the story that was created, everybody thought, well, she's dying, in the hospital bed, and her last words were, "Son, go win the gold medal for me in Barcelona." And it wasn't like that. When I won the gold and I got out of the ring and to do my interview with NBC at the time, the first reporter that told me, so how did it feel winning the gold medal, or your mom's dying wish of winning the gold medal? And I just went with it. I was 18 years old, and I was like, I didn't know, I didn't have experience with media or anything like that, and I just went with it, and it took off like wildfire.
Mm-hmm.
And so just living that lie, living that one lie for all these years, I mean, it eats you inside, man.
Yeah,
So
I can imagine.
with the whole, moniker of being the golden boy. At the time, were you like, yes, I am the golden boy, or this was this mythos that was created that I have to have the pressure to live up to and sort of play into, but you really didn't feel like the golden boy at all?
No, I did. I did. You know, I mean, yeah, growing up in East LA, I was a good kid, man. I was, you know, I was just honest, good little kid, you know, and until that moment. And then when I got fame, when I got money, I started making. Jesus, my very first fight, I was already making like $500,000 in my first pro fight, which is crazy.
Yeah.
And that's because of the gold. Yeah, when I was starting, maybe the first 10, 11 fights, I felt like the golden boy. I felt like, you know, man, everything's going good. I'm a straight shooter. I'm training hard. I'm, you know, you know, everybody loves me. And so when the pressure of fame and money and women and you know, everybody around me, when that grew, it just got out of control. And maybe 12 fights into my career, I was like, man, I feel like a bad boy here. You know, I don't feel like the golden boy. I feel like a bad boy because I'm partying. Now I'm just, you know, out of control.
Let's go back real quick. Maybe take us back to the start. When did you first discover that you could kick anybody's ass?
I was 9 years old. Yeah, 9 years old. 9 years old. My first fight as an amateur at 6 years old, I stopped the kid with a body shot. And then, but at 9 years old, I realized, shit, I can do something with this. I can become, you know, I can do something. And I started knocking kids out like at 9 years old.
You knocked a kid out at 6 years old with a body shot, like a liver shot?
Yeah.
Do we still have 6-year-old boxing matches like that? That seems like
I don't think so. I think it was illegal, man. Like bullfighting.
How old was the kid you knocked out? Because
what's that?
How old was the kid when you were 6 who you fought?
I think he was the same age.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, 6, 7 years old.
I was gonna say, like, don't let Dana White hear about this. He's gonna have 6-year-olds fighting in the ring like next weekend, pay-per-view. That's the next step after Power Slap. Yeah.
Pay-per-view Power Slap, 6 years old. Yeah, 6-year-old.
So you discover that you're really good at fighting. Do you enjoy it? Did you enjoy fighting, or was there something else about it? Like, did you like fighting or did you like winning?
I love both. I had this rage inside of me. You know, if you check out the documentary, I had so much rage in me, all the anger because of my mom, you know, the way she treated me, all the physical abuse. So I had so much rage in me that I loved getting in the ring and just fighting and then beating the crap out of somebody.
Mm-hmm. And then you kind of figured out as you get into your teenage life that this is something that you could actually be very successful at, do for a living. And was the Olympic gold medal, was that your first major goal that you had for yourself?
I had 235 fights as an amateur, and I only lost 5. So along the way, I won. I think it was 11 Golden Gloves. I won Junior Olympics. I won the Goodwill Games, which were very important. They were 2 years prior to the Barcelona Games in '92. So that was very important. But yeah, the gold medal, by far till this day is the most important trophy I have.
Mm-hmm. And you talked about after you win the gold medal, your first professional fight, $500,000, that's absurd. Even to this day, that's absurd for a first professional fight. Yeah. Is it harder to train to fight? Is it harder to fight when you're successful, when you're getting paid a lot of money?
I think you get a little comfortable. Yeah, I think you do. If you know, once you start making all the big money and you just get comfortable, and that's when shit happens. You know, that's when you start to ease off on the pedal, and you know, in your training camp, you're not running as much, you're not training hard, you're not really focused mentally, and that's when you get beat. That's what happens to the best of us, to everybody.
A lot of people talk about the style of fighting between amateur, Olympic, and then pro to be much different because the stakes are almost different. Do you feel that your fight style changed from when you were an amateur then to the Olympics and then in pro?
Yeah.
Because they say a lot of the problem with pro boxing nowadays, why it isn't, is losing some viewership to UFC is because it's a much more defensive fighting style. Do you have?
Yeah, you know what's crazy, and that's a great question, man. Because when I was coming up fighting, I was trying to be like Sugar Ray Leonard, like Mike Tyson, So whatever fighter is popular at the time, that's how kids are gonna train. That's how everybody's gonna want to copy is that style, So the style that people are copying now, believe it or not, is Mayweather style. And so therefore it made boxing pretty boring. Literally. I mean, I'm not talking shit here, but it's like it just, defense is great, yeah, but people want to see somebody get their ass kicked.
Yeah.
And so you're right. There's people who are turned off by that, and but it all depends on who's the popular fighter at the moment, and kids start to copy that style, and it becomes a thing in boxing.
Did the Philly shell ruin boxing, you think?
I think so, in a way. I mean, it's a beautiful style, and I actually admire it a lot because it's not easy to do. But I always loved a great fight, just going back and forth. Arturo Gatti and Mickey Ward. I mean, that's my style.
Yeah, I love the body shot knockouts. That's one thing I can sit and watch compilations of the liver shot.
I got knocked out by Hopkins, so I don't.
Yeah, that's rough. Good point. It probably brings up some bad memories. But from an aesthetic point of view, if you're watching The Sweet Science and you see a shot to the liver and you get that delayed reaction, that's about like a a second after you get hit. So what is that like? What does it feel like to just take a beating right on your liver?
It literally paralyzes you. It feels, how can I describe it? Yeah, all your air is out. And it paralyzes you, and you have to crunch up your body, because it's so painful. And for about 9-10 seconds, you're just in so much pain, but 11 seconds, you're fine. It's crazy. But that's like 1 second too late.
But you can't do anything. Yeah.
Yeah, that's 1 second too late because now the referee's already counted you out.
Did any judges have fast clocks? Do they count faster than others?
Yeah, I don't think the judges, the referee can have a fast count or a slow count. Those are the tricks of combat sport. They can count you out sometimes in 7 seconds because they're counting so fast. It's like there's that one fight with Mike Tyson and Buster Douglas when he knocked out Tyson. The ref Don King, the promoter, was calling foul because he thought the referee was counting so fast, and they counted Mike Tyson out. So yeah, it's all up to the referee.
I want to get back to the movie in a second here, but I have a question I got to ask you about a fight that's coming up, Ngannou versus Fury.
Yeah, it's
anytime you get a boxer in the ring with an MMA fighter, if it's a boxing match, I always want to give the edge to the boxer because that's what they grew up doing. That's how they train. Of course. Ngannou is a physical specimen, obviously, and if he hits him, he does have knockout power, so he could knock him out. But is that kind of your mindset too? If it's a trained boxer versus an MMA fighter who's a great all-time striker, you still have to give the edge. What's the difference in that? Like, how is the boxer always going to have that edge?
I think it's the boxer has been doing it since childhood, and I could never give an MMA fighter a chance against the top level fighter in boxing. It's like if Tyson Fury were to go into the cage, he would get annihilated. That's easy. And Dagu would just destroy him. I think it's because of the striking and um, um, the jiu-jitsu and all that. It wouldn't be fair. It's crazy what money does to people, and Dagu's going into the boxing ring, he's getting paid a shitload of money basically to get his ass kicked. I mean, that's the bottom line, because Tyson's a beast, man.
There's no way Fury has better boxing skills than Deontay Wilder, and Wilder probably the most comparable when it comes to punch power, right?
Right. Yeah, no, Deontay's a powerhouse, man. He can knock you out with that either punch. But one thing about Tyson, he's so big, and he moves like a lightweight, which makes him almost impossible to beat.
Yeah.
Going on more on Tyson Fury, do you think that he's taking all of these fights because he is dodging Usyk? Do you think that he's past his prime where he could take a fight like Usyk and he's kind of dodging him?
Yeah, no, I don't think he's dodging him. I think it's all about getting the upper hand, getting the bigger purse. It's all money, man. Everything's all now money driven, and we're talking about tens of millions of dollars here, hundreds of millions of dollars, and they're still being greedy.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, just make the fight happen. Just do it. There's enough money in the pot. Just make it happen. It's all good.
Do you think a Joshua Fury fight happens before a Usyk Fury fight?
I think a Joshua fight happens before. Yeah. I like Joshua. I think Joshua has a lot to prove, and he knows it, So therefore he's going to take these big fights and take some, short money. So, I can see Joshua happening with Tyson, probably first quarter of next year.
Arian just joined us. Arian, what's up? How are we doing, buddy?
What's going on, brother? How you doing? Big fan, man. I grew up in what's going on, man? I grew up in Albuquerque, New Mexico. And fight nights was always a big deal, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we grew up watching you. I don't remember Danny
Did
Tapia.
you know the fighter named Johnny Tapia?
Yeah, Johnny Tapia. That's what it was. Yeah, Johnny Tapia. He was big growing up. One of the ones that we always rooted for and stuff. But I have a question about historical boxing, man.
Okay.
You kind of alluded to it now, and you talk about how it's all money driven, and I feel like that's just the economy we live in. That's the world we live in, right? But I feel like the root of that, to my knowledge, was like Muhammad Ali. And granted, I think he was one of the greatest athletes of all time, obviously. But also I think he was so good and he was so impactful culturally that
Sure.
became the standard for boxers to promote themselves when it was really genuine coming from him.
Sure.
But I feel like a lot of cats nowadays, that is like part of the deal. You become a boxer and you got to sell yourself, and you got to be brash. You got to have bravado. When I remember, not all boxers were like that, right? But like now, that's kind of the mold. That is the cookie cutter. What's what you got to do. Do you feel like that is the case? One, but two, hurts boxing a little bit as far as like a brand perspective, or what are you feeling on that?
Yeah, no, it's a great question, man. I think Muhammad Ali was the perfect promoter, to promote himself, and but a lot of these fighters, a lot of these young fighters are obviously using social media and other ways to promote themselves. But the problem is that sometimes they think they're too big, they're too popular. They're just because I get 50 likes or something, and they feel they're like the top of the world, and it makes it tough to negotiate with these fighters sometimes, because they think they're so big. They think they deserve like big money. But I strongly feel that, I mean, the self promotion is brilliant. It's necessary. I mean, you see the UFC, you see all these guys, I mean, they don't make much money like boxers, but the way they promote themselves is genius. They're out there. They have their own personal stories, and some guys are just some are like Mike Tyson, some are like Muhammad Ali, and they make more money because they promote themselves. So it's quite interesting how promoting has changed over the years.
In your career, did you ever feel that pressure to start a beef, make something personal, or to try to pretend like something was personal going into a fight, sell more tickets, more pay-per-views?
Nah, it's crazy because with my career, see, I had the Olympic platform, the Olympic gold, and so the world fell in love with my story. And then for some strange reason, all these women started just going to my fights. And so
For some
I
strange reason,
remember,
you're an attractive guy. You can say it. You can be like, yeah,
well, yeah, I mean,
I'm good looking.
I'm good looking, yeah, thank you. But yeah, it's crazy. I didn't have to do all that. I didn't. I just had to smile. That's it. I just had to smile, and it's like it was a phenomenon with me because we had never seen it before ever in boxing. Normally it's like the guys watching at home and the men buying the tickets, but now it's like now I'm filling up like 50,000 seat arenas, and there's like 90% women. It was crazy.
Yeah, to a certain extent, it's almost like the nickname "the Golden Boy." I mean, it was very good for promotion. It helped you
Right.
make a lot of money. On
Yeah.
the other hand, being known as the Golden Boy, that's almost like it's become almost a sarcastic way to refer to somebody nowadays, where you're like, "Oh, this you're Golden Boy over here. Like he can do no wrong." With
Right.
you, it's like that expectation was put on you that you had to be perfect.
Oh,
You
yeah.
had to be like clean cut, do everything the right
Yeah.
way. You're a hero at that point. So
Yeah.
looking back on it and everything that you talk about in the movie that's on Max right now, would you do it a different way? Would you want your nickname to be something else, or has it still been a net positive for you?
No, it's been a positive for me. I wouldn't change anything. I mean, I did a lot of shit that came to haunt me. I did a lot of shit that really catapulted my career to new heights. Every single time I would fight, I wouldn't change anything. I think everything just happens for a reason. Choices, I made bad choices, good choices. Maybe there's one thing I would change. Have a better relationship with my kids over the years, and really not focus too much on traveling and training and going away to the mountains. I would literally seclude myself for about a year in the mountains just to get away from people, from fans, from women, from and just to focus on boxing. And so I would change that, but everything, like I said, everything just happens for a reason. It built my character. It made me who I am. It made me who I was inside the ring. So yeah, I wouldn't change anything.
You
I
talk
got,
about getting away from women. I think we all have to do that on this podcast too. We get they beat our
Yeah.
doors out. If we want to put out a good show, it's like I can't.
Yeah.
I'm not. No one on the show is allowed to have sex within 24 hours
Right, there you
of
go.
broadcast.
It's a 24-48 rule.
I couldn't have sex like 3 months prior to a fight, man. Imagine that.
Yeah.
Wait, really?
Yeah,
Was that your rule or was that your trainer's rule?
it was my trainer's rule. Yeah.
Is there any science to that whatsoever, or is that just something that's kind of like it gets passed down? Somebody says it, and then so you believe it.
No fact.
I mean, I don't. It gets passed down. You believe it, but it never. I mean, I don't think it's true or real. Or I mean, one time in one of these fights that I had, I was gonna break the rule. So the night before, this woman comes into my room, and we get it on, and I had the best fight ever. The night after, I felt light on my feet. I felt loose. It was crazy.
Which-
So
that's what I heard that too growing up because I play professional ball, and so we heard that too all the way growing up. And I don't know, some of my best games the night before I did my thing, and so I don't
Right.
I don't know, man. I don't know if there's
Yeah.
much truth to it, but I want to go back to something that you said that I felt is like not really harped on, and it's not necessarily indicative to professional athletes, but professional athletes have a different perspective. You said you wish you had a better relationship with your kids, and I'm finding out now that I'm retired, I have a lot more to give to my children than when I was in the NFL. One thing that I remember vividly, I used to come home from training, I come home from practice, and my kids jumping all over me, they want to play, and I just don't have the physical energy
Sure.
to play with them. On top of the mental energy, on top of the emotional energy, like all of that stuff. I wonder, because that balance, it to me is tough. Because I have parents that were there for me and they love me and they care for me, but we suffered in other ways. I grew up extremely poor, and so I wonder. You say you wish you did it differently. I don't want to get too personal, but I kind of want to pick your brain on like what do you feel that you could have done differently? Because I feel like as breadwinners in this kind of society that we live in, it's almost like that balance is a facade because in order to give everything to something, you got to have some kind of sacrifice.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's true, man. That's a good point. Um, like for instance, I loved to fight, and I loved fighting very often. And my training camp was up in the mountains, and I was literally secluded from everything, including my family, including my kids. And I would love being up there just because I had peace of mind and I can focus. Um, I once stood there for a whole year without seeing anybody.
Damn.
And I would just literally come down to Las Vegas for the week, fight week, and then go right back up. And a lot of times too, I would train and fight, and then I would go on a tour to promote other things, you know. And so I just missed out on a lot, you know. It was by choice, and a lot of times it was because I was training. But you know, there's a lot of moments that are missed, you know,
Right.
and kids don't forget it, man. They
Right.
they remind you,
Right.
you know. And it's what's pretty cool now is that look, I'm here, I'm present, I'm focused, I'm balanced, and I can always, you know, I can always try to make amends. I can always try to make peace with my kids, you know. And so it's a learning process, man. It's a process of always just growing and learning, man.
It's funny because I don't know if you've seen that Netflix thing with the professional golfers. I forget what it's called.
Yeah, a full swing golf
Yeah,
swing or
full
something.
swing. Yeah, so seeing that, right, and seeing the different dynamics and golf. Obviously, golf is a different sport and it takes a different amount of toll than boxing would on your body. But it's like one of the things that stood out to me was Tony Finau, who's a
Yeah,
great golfer. Like his biggest critique is like he brings his family everywhere, and you got to wonder at some point, is this hurting his potential as great? And it's like it's a very real question. You know what I'm saying? It's
sure,
like you can only
sure,
give so much of yourself. And, shout out to him for doing the best he can to implement his family. But I
sure.
just wanted to pick your brain because it's a very interesting perspective.
Yeah,
And I
it
I
is.
lost out on some time with my kids when they were
Sure,
younger. Absolutely. But
sure.
now I have all the time in the world. But it's just dope to hear somebody,
I mean, you
in that
take, yeah,
world.
you take a look at these, you know, the top athletes or whatever, you know. Um, you have to be kind of like there has to be something missing, you know, that sparks that fire in you. Like for instance, you have to be a little crazy, man. I don't know what it is, but there
Yeah.
has to be something that happened to you. Or you look at Tyson, you look at, you know, myself, you look at Floyd Mayweather, you look at, you know, even Pacquiao, who grew up in the Philippines with nothing, and his life story. It's like we have to have this some kind of like you know, event that took place in our life, you know, that kind of screwed with our head and made us like these machines, you know.
Yeah.
It's pretty interesting, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Big T, what you got for him?
Yeah, so the documentary you mentioned, it talks about highs and lows and stuff that happened in your life. Some of which like nobody would want to happen to them. So now we have, you know, there's much more of a conversation about mental health and things like that, but also social media is a beast that didn't exist for most of your career. Would you, if your career happened now instead of 20, 25 years ago, do you think it would be any different? And would you rather have had it happen now than then?
I think I think I'm very fortunate that I didn't have social media back then. It's especially for an athlete or whoever, it's distracting, and it's mentally it just messes with your head, you know, psychologically and mentally it drains you. You know, it's like I don't know, it's I think like I said, everything happens for a reason, and social media has been, you know, a lot of these athletes' worst enemy. You know, there's a lot of great athletes out there who don't make it, and believe it or not, because of social media. It's pretty crazy.
Do you believe that, as a promoter and with your relationship with some of the guys you're promoting, social media has been more of a harm than a help?
I think so, man. I mean, look, like for instance, you take a look at like a Ryan Garcia, right?
Mm.
Amazing talent, good kid. I mean, he's got all the potential to become world champion many times over. And but it's crazy because the diehard fight fan like labels him as like this social media darling or whatever.
Mm.
It's gotta mess with your head. I would think, you know.
Well, after speaking of liver shots, after he lost to Gervonta Davis,
Yeah.
there was a bit of a riff on social media between you two. Have you guys resolved that, or have
Yeah,
you
we
resolved that?
resolved. We did. We resolved it. We resolved it. Look, there's a pending lawsuit right now that I slapped on him, just for him to honor his contract. But look, at the end of the day, it's like family, you know. Family will have their riffs here and there, and they don't talk to each other for a while, but it's always family at the end of the day, right? That's the way we feel.
Mm.
When it comes to social media, I do think that there's one fighter that would have absolutely dominated on social media, and that's Butterbean. I used to love Butterbean, man. You know Butterbean?
Butterbean with the man. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
He was. I used to watch his fights with my grandfather.
He was a beast.
Mm.
He was a beast. He can punch. He can knock you out with any punch. And he was fast too for being a little buttery around the waist.
Butterbean could probably beat Jake Paul today. He says he wants that fight still.
Oh yeah, no, Butterbean. Yeah, Butterbean can go out there and I mean he can actually go out there and beat most heavyweights today.
You think so?
Oh yeah.
You think
Oh yeah.
Butterbean beats Ngannou in a boxing match?
Damn, you know what? I think he knocks him out.
Yeah.
Oh, I would love to see that.
That's a better fight
Butterbean
than
knocks him
Fury.
out, yeah.
That's a better fight than Fury.
Ngannou steps
Well,
in the ring with
crazy.
like 10 abdominal muscles popping out everywhere, and then Butterbean gets in there, like takes his bathrobe off and just knocks him straight right.
What was crazy with Butterbean and nobody ever knocked him out is because he had no fucking neck.
Yeah.
You know, he was just like, it was crazy. So his chin was like granite. I mean, he couldn't hit his chin.
His chin was in his chest. It just was one solid thing. He had no chin.
What's the hardest you've ever been hit in your life?
I got hit, man. This kid from Ghana, African kid from Ghana, and those fighters are tough as nails. I thought he had like bricks in his hands. We went at it for 12 rounds. It was literally like a Rocky movie. The last round, if you check it out on YouTube, the last round, I had him against the ropes and I was connecting him with like 30 punches unanswered. I don't know how he stood up, but he would still be punching with his eyes closed. He was like out of it. Mm-hmm. And even then he was hitting me. And I mean, it felt like granite, like he had bricks in his hand. It was pretty crazy, man.
Yeah.
I
think my favorite fight of all time was Castillo Corrales.
Yeah, that was a good fight.
That was crazy because in that one, dude had never been knocked down in his life, right?
Right.
And no one had gotten him on the canvas, and he got knocked out in that fight, but he didn't get knocked down. He was still standing up, and he was unconscious, but he still never got knocked down in his life. That was nuts.
That was one of the all-time favorite fights. Yeah.
Yeah.
I got another question, man, that I've always wanted to ask a professional boxer. I don't think I've ever gotten the chance to. I don't know if y'all feel this, right? Or if anybody, because it's very prevalent, like in where I'm from and like how we grew up watching boxing matches. We would all get together, huddle up, and all order on pay-per-view. Yeah, so it was all like, it was very communal, right? So all my people would get around.
Okay.
And it became very like representative of the communities that you're from, right?
Right.
So it's like when you would have a black boxer boxing a Mexican boxer, it felt very real to us. I'm unsure how y'all compartmentalized it, but it was almost like you roll for a side. I mean, it's kind of indicative of the times, that's America's a melting pot, right?
Yeah.
And so I was wondering if y'all ever felt that kind of racial tension when y'all would come up against each other. You know what I mean?
Especially back in the in the early 90s.
That's what.
You know, if a Mexican fighter was fighting a black fighter or yeah, I mean, it was always, it felt it felt, the tension was in the air. That's,
Yeah.
that's for certain.
Yeah.
But it was normal. It was crazy.
Yeah.
It was normal. It was
Yeah.
just normal. Where I grew up in East LA, the only, there was two black kids in my neighborhood. One was Will I Am.
Oh shit.
Yeah, so we grew up with him, and then there was this other little black kid who was our skateboard buddy in school growing up, and it's crazy because even when we would watch like Chavez fight
Mm-hmm.
when we were kids, and he would fight like Maldrick Taylor or or somebody else, it's like there was like this divide.
Yeah.
It was crazy. It was like what,
Yeah.
And I can sense it from my parents, like my father, my grandfather. It's like, because my little buddies would they would come over to the house. His name was T, my little friend T. He would come over to the house, and my dad would be like, "What's he doing here?" We're watching Chavez. Like hey, like relax, man. It's
Yeah. No,
Yeah,
it's a very and it's never spoken about, right? And especially like in today's heightened political climate. I don't even want to bring that part into it, but it was always a very prevalent presence in boxing to me. That is it's an undercurrent that still pervades the sport, but it's rarely talked about. That still, I feel like America has a lot of healing to do. But when it comes to boxing, no pun intended, the gloves kind of come off, and it's like I'm riding for the side, and it's for whatever reason it's still prevalent. I just wondering if you felt it. It's interesting, man.
No, we did. It's changing now, but but it used to be bad back then.
Yeah.
I mean, in today's political, well, speaking of politics, let's talk about it. You considered running for president in 2020.
Yeah, I mean, that was all bullshit. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy because like everywhere I go, oh, you should run for mayor, or because LA is like a dump right now. It's like California's, I don't know what the hell's going on, man. It's getting a little funny where, I don't know, it's different. It's just different now. And so everywhere I would go, people would tell me, oh, you should run for mayor, you should run for governor. You would win. You have my vote. And then when was it? In one of these big fights I was promoting, somebody asked me, would you ever run for president? So then I thought to my head, okay, wait, let me promote this fight here, and I am gonna, run for president. So yeah, it's all BS. I wouldn't. I have too many skeletons in my closet, man.
So I mean, in the movie, you get into some of the skeletons in the closet a little bit. You probably uncover and talk about some uncomfortable moments in your life. Was there anything that stood out as like the hardest thing to reveal and open yourself up?
I mean, the hardest thing for me was listening to my kids talk about me. But obviously, the hard thing and the thing nobody wants to talk about are the pictures. The me dressing up in women's clothes, and actually I didn't dress myself up. I was passed out. But yeah, that was difficult, because everybody's gonna see it, and my kids will see it, and so. But I had to do it, I had to do it because it's the truth, man. I mean, it's. I used to go out when I retired, and I started, using drugs and drinking alcohol and this and that, and going to strip clubs. I put myself in that situation, and so that was a little uncomfortable, but not really, because I mean, it's whatever. It's no big deal.
I always looked at it different, man. I know when it came out, everybody got their jokes and shit, but man, I'm very big on, and I don't know your preferences, my brother, but I'm very big on not kink shaming, right? I feel like as long as you're not hurting and everybody's consensual, I don't really care what anybody do. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I'm not hurting anybody, man.
That's what I'm saying. Like, do whatever you feel, man. So
but what's crazy is that I wish I would have been conscious to know what I was doing. I didn't know what I was doing. I was out.
Right.
Somebody drugged me. There had to be at least 3-4 people there, because what I'm thinking is I was unconscious and I didn't know what the hell I was doing. To put that suit on and not rip it is like impossible to do it by yourself.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah. So it's like, okay, man, was this a setup? Did somebody set me up? You know, because there were some really bad people there, man. I mean,
Right.
you know that we actually interviewed that girl that leaked the photos, and we found her like somewhere in Costa Rica where she's like, or somewhere in South America where she's like hiding out. By who? Who is she hiding from? So it's. I mean, I don't know if I should even open up some kind of investigation or something. You know?
Right. Right.
Mm.
We're gonna let you go in a second here. We appreciate the time. Again, you can check out The Golden Boy. It's streaming on Max right now. Big T, do you have the video of Billy's boxing match against Jose Canseco?
Yeah.
I would like you to give Billy some constructive criticism or weigh in how impressive you think this fight was. Okay. I think he's got the video right here. What's the best way to do that, Big T? Should you show it into the camera?
I sent it to you. Yeah, I'll just bring the camera up here and I'll put it up.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So Billy, maybe you can tell Oscar like what it was like. What was in your mind going into this fight?
So I trained for about 2 months for a boxing match, and because Jose Canseco once fought professionally before, I had to get registered. So this is it. This is what happened.
Okay. Here's the entire fight.
Jose Canseco, the baseball player.
Oh yeah.
And there's the right hook. That gun, boom. I put him down.
Oh, and then he hit him on the ground. Did you see that last one?
Right on the temple, brother.
Yeah. A lot of people think that he just fell down. Man. I know I hit him with a right to the temple, and he just went down.
Yeah. Damn. Okay.
And then now he's faking a shoulder injury.
No, yeah. Every fighter does that. Like, oh yeah, I didn't get knocked out. It was my left knee. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
that was actually a good overhand right to the temple, right?
Yeah. That's what I got him with. I put him down. Everyone's oh, he just took a dive. No, I hit him. I made him quit. Now I'm getting adrenaline back.
Are you just gonna retire at 1-0, or you're cool? Or
I don't know. There's a guy. We might get something else going, but there's no other adrenaline rush like a fight. There's no other high. And trust me, I just got a small taste. Like a little taste, but you just, even now I'm thinking about it, and my heart rate's getting up. I can tell that there's veins popping out of me right now, and I'm just no.
What's crazy is that when I'm outside the ring, I can't even imagine fighting or getting hit, or because I'm literally a big pussy, man. So it's I hate getting hit. I hit my toe on the corner of a table and it fucking hurts like hell. But inside the ring, you can chop my head off and I'll still come at you.
Yeah.
You know? It's crazy. It's the adrenaline.
It's
war mode.
It's you look, I watched that video and I'm like, who the fuck is that?
Right. Yeah, exactly.
What? Who, was he blacked out? What the fuck? No,
right.
So Billy wants to fight one of our producers, Max, who's a big boy. You're a promoter, Oscar. Maybe you could just call Max out. Say Max, quit ducking Billy. Billy wants to fight you.
Hey Max, come on, quit ducking Billy. He wants to fight you. Big purse, big money. Let's do it.
There's a lot of big money. There's big money on the line.
Oh yeah,
big money by our standards. But last question. I don't know if you've watched any of the Jake Paul or Logan Paul fights. If they were to fight each other, do you think Jake wins or Logan?
Yeah, I think Jake, man. I respect Jake actually for what he's doing. I love the fact that he's taking it serious. He is. It's a lifestyle for him, which is cool. And everybody always asks me well, what do you think about the YouTube and this? And I mean, I don't really. If you don't take it serious, then it's dangerous, and it's dangerous for the fighter. It's not pleasant to watch. But Jake Paul, he takes it serious, man, and I love him. I love him for that. He respects the sport, and he fought against this Tyson Fury guy, and he lost. And what does he do? Goes and calls out Nate Diaz, who has experience in the ring, and he goes back to the gym and back to the drawing board. So yeah, I gotta respect that, man.
I mean, one thing about the influencer fighting, and we were talking about this before about pro boxing, has become so defensive, and everyone who grew up watching Mayweather has, but a lot of these fighters, because they're not, as skilled defensively, it makes for better fights. Guys are getting hit. Guys are going down.
They're actually fun to watch.
They're
actually fun to watch, man. But being that I fought at the highest level, it's you can watch it. You can watch one or two fights, and they're entertaining,
Yeah.
But then obviously I want to go back and watch like the real fighting,
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
No,
but
of
it's
course.
fun. I think it's a lot of fun, man.
More boxing's good. Good for everybody, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Rising
Oh,
tide
yeah.
lifts all boats.
Check out
Fight
Rough.
game, man.
Barstool Sports has a promotion. In the next one, me and Max might be fighting, but it's called
No
Rough and
shit.
Rowdy. It might be Rough and Rowdy. So that's some real no defense,
Right.
all haymakers. Check it out. If
What
you
do
got some
you guys? Are you guys fighting for any type of purse or anything, or just fighting for?
winner leaves
Yeah.
town match.
No, loser leaves town.
Yeah.
You
Winner.
got the other way around.
No,
and
no,
also
but
money. Yes, Billy, there's money involved. Let's not-
and it's a winner leaves town match
Gotcha.
because the winner will be leaving town.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Oscar. Thank you very much for joining us, man. We really appreciate your
Thanks,
time
man.
today. So
Appreciate you,
check
man.
out the Golden Boy.
Thanks
It's on
so
Max right now. But best of luck in the future, man. Hope to talk to you again.
Hope y'all enjoyed that interview, man. It was fun. I enjoyed it. I thought he was a cool dude, man.
One of the goats.
Yeah, for sure, man. And one of the goats at promoting too. Always done a good job, but it was dope.
And a
interview.
powerful chair. Just
That was a wild,
see,
yeah.
you see that chair, you're like, this guy, it looks like an evil lair chair. Like that guy has power.
You thought he's in his office, like he has like a grown man's office. I think that's what I don't think I'll ever be an adult. Like I don't have aspirations to have an office like that, but he has a fucking office.
Yep.
Well done. All right, man. Well, that was this week's pod. This nano dosing is a little longer than I thought it was gonna be, man. But it's good vibes, good stuff. I think the gang will be back on Thursday, right? No?
Yeah, we pre-recorded it.
Yep. So we'll definitely be back.
Coming to you with an episode from last week, but it's which one is it?
I forget. We'll
all be surprised. It was a good episode though, and it has everyone on it.
Yeah, and the current event takes are going to be so last week, so don't get on the bumper too much, man. And we'll be all back gang together. We'll be all back together with the gang next week. Yeah, see y'all all be Chicago then, huh?
PFT and I will be in the current Chicago office recording until the new one opens in about a month.
Love to see it. All right, like, share, subscribe. Still trying to get Big T high on the YouTube, so do that, man. Much love, man. Y'all take care.